Mic'd up.
Welcome everybody. The Florida Sports Hall of Fame is mic'd up. My name is John Reger, a mic'd up broadcaster and board member of the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, and also joined live by fellow board member Nora Lee Smith at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers NFL training camp.
Go
Hey,
Bucs!
we have Bar None with us, William Bar None Floyd. Now I know it's not a he's not a Buccaneer, but the folks from Mic'd Up actually that let us do this on their app and their channel. They're from San Francisco, William, so they're going to be very happy to have you on. But
Nice.
William Bar None Floyd, member of the Florida Sports Hall of Fame also, and he is a broadcaster for football for Florida State University. So really cool thing. So anyway, throughout the years, we've had the honor of inducting Buccaneer football players and coaches into the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. And that also includes the NFL Hall of Fame, Super Bowl championships, and the Buccaneers Ring of Honor. So this long list includes Rondé Barber, Derek Brooks, Leroy Selman, Warren Sapp, Doug Williams, Mike Allstott, John Gruden, Tony Dungy, and even old-timers such as Steve Spurrier, Barry Smith, and the longtime voice of the Bucs, Gene Deckerhoff. So, Nora and Bar None, you're down there at the sidelines of the Tampa Bay Buccaneer NFL training camp. What's going on behind you there right now?
Well, the guys are out there trying to get it done right now. It's training camp. Everybody's trying to figure out where they get in where you fit in, So I'm excited to be out here to watch these young fellas. Not typically a Bucs fan, you would say, but I had a lot of friends that played for the Bucs, Hall of Famers now, won Super Bowl with the Bucs. And I did grow up in St. Petersburg, so I was a smidgen of a Bucs fan back in the day. But it wasn't a whole lot of fun watching the Bucs back in the day.
Well, you are in the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, so that qualifies you to be a Bucs fan, that's for sure. Hey, I guess It did rain this morning. You guys were supposed to be outside on the outdoor training field. Is that correct?
Yes, we were all set up, and we were excited to be here right out on the outside practice field, but they were so afraid of lightning. It was 10 miles away. They told us to shut it down, so we came inside, and this training facility was built about 3 years ago by the Buccaneers. It's right behind One Buck Place, and it's absolutely stunning and beautiful, but a lot of people are wet like we are.
Well, Bar None, I guess this always, because you're around football all the time, obviously, as a broadcaster, but as a former player, training camp is something different here. I noticed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My dad played 12 years in the NFL. He's an all-pro linebacker with the Steelers. And they used to go away for training camp, at some small college somewhere. They still do.
Right.
And Mom would have to sneak my sister and I into town. Don't tell anybody your names, just so they could get together and have a nice little visit, right? And they used to have the assistant coaches sit at the train station at night, because some of the players who wanted to try out and play on the team in training camp wanted to leave and end their career right there. They didn't want to play football anymore, and the assistant coaches would bring them on back to camp. It was like prison. But now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are right here in their home training facility in their hometown. So when you were in training camp, where did you guys train?
Well, when I was in San Francisco, we went 2 hours away north to Rockland, California, basically the desert. And that was just to get you away from family, to make sure you're around the team the entire time, where you could do nothing but focus on football. And then when I went with the Panthers, Jerry Richardson, who owned all the restaurants that you can name of back in the day, who bought his team, had his practice. We had our practice down in Wofford College down in South Carolina. So I never got a chance to practice at our actual facilities when I was playing, but I think it's awesome that the Bucs are able to train right here at home. They get to go home and see their family every day, their kids every day. So, that's what's the fun thing about it, because that's what you need, motivation, especially in training camp. You're like, man, why am I doing this, man? They're putting this through so much that you go home and look at your family, and then you realize what you're doing it for.
Well, Nora, so this is indoors now at the Tampa Bay Buccaneer NFL Training Center there. So being indoors, and as you pan the camera around, this is quite something. But also, there's
so this is Junior Kids Day. So we have who's the two characters?
Oh, we have the Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol.
Yeah, my grandbabies are gonna be happy.
I got me some Paw Patrol there.
Yeah, man, the Paw Patrol is on tap right here in that book $1.
You can probably see some of the kids. Look at this.
Yeah. Little mama
Oh,
right
look at
here.
that. Hey, there's even
She's
a retro
enjoying life
uniform
right
on
now.
there,
She
too.
has her. So yeah, she's enjoying life right now. All the kids, the Bucks are doing an amazing job. Like I said, Popeye's in effect today because Popeye got to get a couple of cartoon characters and a couple of stuffed animals for the baby. So I'm going to be okay when I get back.
That's fantastic. Well, that's what I wanted to talk about is the fans. At the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, we've got a new patrons program that we just started, and we're looking forward to connect our fans as patrons to the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. And this type of event is one of those events that they're enjoying. And if you were going to have a prognosis, William, of the Bucks this year, and I know, and you were qualified to say it because you're a professional broadcaster, so you have to call it like it is. You
I
have to call
got to.
balls and strikes, and in this case, it's X's and O's. But you have to call that. How do you feel the Bucks are going to do? It's always fun at training camp because everybody's excited about their team, and it looks like they've got a pretty good team.
I think they're going to be okay, man. But I think you want to go into the season knowing what you're working with and have all your players. And I think Baker not being here today is a little bit of a distraction. I think the fact that Vita Vea is here is really good for the Bucks. But I know he asked for a trade, but he's actually here. He's not practicing, but he's walking around with his teammates. So I think that's awesome. I think that gives him a good shot of coming back here. But like I said, you want to have everybody here as a team working together because when you get to the season, there are that many, not that many more at bats. Once the season starts, it's a done deal. Guys are getting injured. You guys need to get healthy. So right now in training camp, you're trying to make that bond, not only physically out there getting on the field, but you want to make that bond with your teammates. You want to know what you're going to get out of the guy that's playing right next to you. So that's why you like to have everybody in training camp. And with Baker, man, you got to make sure you're on point, getting up all out there to the wide receivers, making sure you're in lockstep with your wide receivers and the quarterback. So hopefully he'll get back in here pretty soon and they'll have everything where they can go 100% and have everybody out there participating.
Get this. I'm gonna
Hey,
show you
so with
a
training
little bit
camp,
more
what you
things
got
to
there,
play
Nora?
with.
What's
Nora,
that, Nora?
Yeah, what?
What do you
What?
got?
Oh, I'm just gonna show you. Like, here's one of the players right here. See? And they're all on the other side right now, but they moved to the other front side. A lot of people are starting to come inside now because it's the, the rain has finally stopped, so everybody's safe now to come in out of their cars. So it's getting pretty filled. You can see, yeah, there you go. You can see where everybody's sitting and all the people coming in. Yeah, it's turned out to be a beautiful day, and we're very, very happy to be here. We weren't able to have our tent today and be able to sign up people for the Florida Sports Hall of Fame membership drive, but hopefully Brian Ford will allow us to come back at another time during this training camp period and do it again. So when it's dry and safe.
Well, that's good. We appreciate that. Hey, William, walk us through a typical day at training camp. What's a typical day of a training camp? Before you get into, I guess, the preseason games. But what's it like? What do you do? What time do you wake up in the morning?
Oh man, I was an early riser because of course, I wanted to get there a little bit before everybody else, get my treatment in, eat breakfast. So really what you're doing, you want to wake up, get all the cobwebs out, go eat breakfast, go put some protein in your body because you're going to be getting ate up all day working out. So you want to start off with a good meal at breakfast. Then man, you hit the field at about 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, just like these guys. You go through about 30 periods, offense, defense, special teams, then some specialist stuff where you're down in the red zone. What's going on right here? Something exciting just happened. Looks like the defense made a good play. But yeah, you're waking up at about, like I said, 5:30. By 7 o'clock, 8, you got what you need in you as far as your meal, your protein, get your energy in for practice. And then you go to work with the guys, man. You go out there and get about 30 periods in. Like I said, offense, defense, special teams, red zone, third down, like every situation you can think of, you're trying to go through that and mimic that in practice. And with football, what we always say is repetition. It's all about repetition. The more you do it, the more it becomes second nature. So that's what this practice is about. Training camp, getting the build in with your fellows, so with your teammates, knowing what you can expect out of them, how they're going to move, how fast they're going to move, and how fast you need to move. So it's always a good time to come together and get this done. You got to get training camp done to have a successful season.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. Is there a curfew at training camp?
Yes. Yes. You want to, let's see what's going on.
Oh, yes.
Another big play by the wide receiver.
All right.
But yeah, I'm sorry. What was the last question? I got caught up in that.
Was there a curfew?
Oh, the curfew. Yes, there's definitely a curfew.
Trying to avoid that question.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't really need to probe or anything. I was
missed
just
a
having
couple.
some fun there.
I've missed a couple, unfortunately. It cost me some running. But yeah, you definitely have a curfew. And I want to say that we were in like 9:30, 10. I think you had to be in the building at 9:30, and then they wanted lights out at 10:30 because, like I said, guys are getting up 5:30 in the morning. So you want to make sure you have sufficient rest.
So training camp right now, because there's a lot of fans here. So I'm assuming there's no spies from the other teams in there looking around. So they're probably not doing a whole lot of fancy stuff. What are they doing right now?
Right now, I think it's just the fundamentals, just the basics right now. And you're right. You probably have a few fans up here that might give a little bit of information back, so you don't want to let everything you're doing out. But this is mainly the fundamentals, getting in the right steps, taking the right steps, make sure you're getting the right depth on your pass routes, making sure you're getting up the field defensively, the defensive ends, just taking care of business, just working on the minute things, because when you get to the season, that's what it's going to be based off, fundamentals and what you've been doing in training camp.
Yeah, I remember my dad's career playing 12 years. He never, he walked on, never got cut. But, some of the stories I heard about the folks at training camp where I guess you get this big book of the plays. And when they call you to the office to get your book, what does that mean during training camp?
Oh, man, if you got to take that book in training camp, you'll be saying sayonara. That'll be your last day at training camp if you get called into the office with that big play, with that book, man. But one thing about it, I think they put all that information in there because they want to see how much guys can absorb, and who can absorb the most. So you're kind of testing a few different things on that when you're giving the guys that big playbook. And of course, they're not going to run every play in there, but you're expected to know every play in there.
Now, is the playbook on a tablet now, or is it?
Reeves, they can get it now. They can get it on the tablet. They can get it on their iPhones. I remember I was just talking to somebody about this. If I wanted to watch extra film back in the day, I literally had to go into the facility and watch film at the facility. There was no getting online or pulling something down out of the cloud and being able to see what you got going on. You had to just get it done right then. I mean, you had to go in. You had to want to be a pro back then. Now it's easy to be a professional. Everything is right at your fingertips.
So when you learn how to, when you learn how to play in the NFL, not college or preps or anything else, and you get this big playbook, and one of the fun things that you see, like at the Steve Spurrier Grill, which I know you've probably been to Steve Spurrier's Grill. This is not a plug for that, but on the wall he's got like a bunch of plays, X's and O's and everything. So as a position player, do you have to know every position and what they're doing? From the lineman all the way to the quarterback to everybody.
Absolutely. If you want to be a student of the game, if you want to be actually good, you need to know what everybody around you is doing. The quarterback, there's Deckers right there. The quarterback, you have to understand what he's doing. And one thing that was good about me, man, I had so many future Hall of Famers around me. All I had to do was go ask the guy if I forgot on the field. Like Ricky Waters was behind me, Jerry Rice is out there, Steve Young's in front of me, Brent Jones over here, John Tell over here. I mean, so all those guys are future Hall of Famers are already in the Hall of Fame. And I was able to come in as a rookie and have the opportunity to play with those guys. So that, too, taught you how to be a professional. They taught me how to be a professional, but for sure, good times.
Well, coming out of college, you were a great college player. And and you were good. And everybody's good in college when you compare them to high school. But you get to the NFL, it seems like everybody who's there is on the team is exceptional. There's no average players, are there?
No, it's not. I mean, if you're in the NFL, you're supposed to be there. It's the best of the best. Guys that have been playing ever since they were 8 years old, and having that dream to be, professional football player. So, yeah, I mean, it's about just, I guess, getting out there and getting it done, Riggs. I mean, I had an awesome time playing the game, and it was because I got to, play with some great professionals, guys that were Hall of Famers, and, hey, got to win the Super Bowl. So life was good for me.
Hey, I'm looking at the ceiling of this place behind you. Hey, who's that player behind you? You mentioned just before.
Oh, that was Deckers.
That was Deckers. I believe he's
But yeah.
long snapper.
Yes.
Oh,
Walking this
there
way,
you go.
long
The
snapper.
long snapper. Okay.
Yeah.
So that means they practice punting in there, and that's the question I had.
Yeah, we were
Can you
talking about
practice
that
punting in
earlier.
there?
Yeah, it's pretty high ceilings. I mean, I think
Okay.
if you hit that, you would be a really good kicker, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I would like to see if they punt in here, Reeves. I'm not sure. I know they could probably see the field goal set up. So you see the field goal set up
yeah.
right there. So I'm imagining that's what it might be just for field goals. But man, some of these, depending on where you kick the ball in here, like if you're on the hashes and the punter kicks the ball, I think that it might have a chance to hit the roof. But if they're in the middle of the field up there, then you can see they might be able to get some height on it. But it looks like, yeah, they're going to kick some. I don't know. They may punt. Let me see what Deckers is doing right here. They're lining up for something, some special teams.
Yeah, let's see if they're going to punt this ball. I'd like to see if they could take out a light on the ceiling.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We've been talking about that. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It looks like he's about to punt it.
Yeah, that's what he's been standing here waiting to do.
I'm trying to see if they're lining up for a field goal or
I guess management would have a problem if your punter was the second coming of Ray Guy or something. That might be an issue.
right. You talk about a Hall of Fame punter right there. That guy used to put his foot in the ball.
So at
Hey,
training
we
camp,
have another Hall of Famer, Florida Sports Hall of Famer, Greg Coleman. And,
Yeah.
he was the punter. Yeah.
Yeah.
so Barry Smith was supposed to be with us today also, but he wasn't able to because the weather was so bad. But I just want to point out that the Buccaneers have a lot of new sponsors. Publix is still one of the number one sponsors that's here, and they have a couple big trucks out here. They also have the Pet Rescue Center that's has dogs for rescuing today, and a lot of other vendors. We can finally see outside because it's been pouring down rain here. But they have so many different activities, especially for the kids here today. So they really put on an amazing training camp show.
Okay,
Well,
Reeves,
and
I
it's
just
great.
got it. I just saw it. So what they're doing is they're simulating the punt. They're snapping the ball to the punter. He's catching it. Let's see if we can get it right here.
All right, here we go.
So it's a simulation, and then on the other end, they have their returners catching the ball down there. It looks like from the jug machine. So the jug machine on one side is,
Here's Bear.
oh, and then here's Bain right here. If you can look down, that's the first round pick of the Bucks this year,
Oh,
number
really?
3. Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, he's right here. This is what the defensive ends are practicing on this side of the field. And then again, back out at special teams with the punter.
He's got some big legs. Look at him.
You see? Yeah,
That's
he's a big dude,
fantastic.
man.
Yeah, holy smokes.
Yeah,
When he's going by you and you say, this is a big dude, my goodness.
these
Holy
dudes
smokes.
are huge.
Hey,
These dudes are huge.
while they're practicing kicking and stuff, what's your opinion of the NFL kickoff rule that they've gone to the last year or so? What is that? I mean, is it are the players warming up to it, or they like it, they don't like it? What do you think as a former NFL player about the kickoffs? Because you probably were involved in quite a few kickoffs in your career.
Yeah, I was on the time where you ran down about 40 or 50 yards and guys were trying to break the wedge, so they don't let you get that type of momentum now. I think from an injury standpoint, it helps out with the players because you don't have all that room to run into 50 yards to go full speed, 2 trains running at each other 100 miles per hour. I think that kind of limits it a little bit, minimizes you getting hit. So I'm not opposed to it, but I always like to see guys, man, get it in and get popped just like we used to back in the day. I think they're taking some of the contact out of the game, but I think it's only to keep guys healthy.
Hey, one of the features about our Mic'd Up app with the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, people actually who are watching ask questions. All
Oh,
right.
nice.
And so, hey, let's get Nora up close here too, because she might be able to answer one of these and whatever. So Nora, part of our Florida Sports Hall of Fame Mic'd Up is that people who are watching live, when they're watching live right now, actually record questions. And so we had a couple questions come in. I screen them, so they're good questions. no one's getting in trouble. And they're actually, when we mentioned Brian Ford early in the show, and we'll still try to get him on the show today. If not, we'll stalk him. We'll get him on the show. We'll bang down the door of his office one day and get inside and talk to him. But so the questions are actually geared towards Brian, but actually these are questions you guys can answer. I'm going to play the first one here. Okay. And so listen in, here we go. I'm going to hit this button and play it.
Hi, Brian. Tell us about the Bucs earning a 2026 Sports Emmy nomination for Raise the Flags, 50 years of Buccaneers football.
All right. So, William, are you aware of that?
I was not.
Yes, I do. No,
okay, Nora's aware of that.
Yeah, so I believe it's on Netflix, and it's called Quarterback something. So sorry, I don't know the full answer. But I did congratulate Brian Ford a couple months ago when they were nominated for an Emmy for the show. And there's 2 seasons. There are a couple seasons. So definitely look for it in Netflix. But they're very, very excited about being nominated for the Emmy for it.
Yeah, it was celebrating their 50th season, which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
wow, just
we saw
like
Brian
yesterday.
earlier, but Brian is like the
unofficial mayor.
Like the mayor of the Buccaneers. So he just came by to say hello. I see Mark Budine over here, who's vice president of marketing for the Buccaneers. I'm going to try and get him to come over and maybe
he can come on over and tell us about that, Emmy. No problem, man.
Yeah, that's cool. I did not realize that, but I mean, I think that was, they did do about 2 seasons of the Bucs where they're following them around everywhere. So that's pretty cool that we got that. Emmy, man, it's not easy to get one of those. I've been in radio 19 years and still trying to figure it out.
Hey, quickly while Nora stepped away there, I remember when the Bucs came, they got their expansion team, and I think it was like, around 75 or so when they first started practicing and stuff for the 76 season. So my dad, he was already out of the league like 8 or 9 years. He had a restaurant downtown Tampa. And so they invited him down to watch the very first practice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I remember the argument he and my mom got into because my dad was saying, I could sign a contract with them and play right now. I could play it right now. And my mom's like, no, you're done with football. But they actually had a very humble beginning. And our good friend Barry Smith was part of that humble beginning with Steve Sprayer. And look what it's evolved into today, 50 years ago from to today. Wow, really something.
So I just talked to Mark Budine. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a moment to talk to us, but he confirmed that it's definitely on Netflix, the show, and it's called
Quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, here's something now, and it might be it's probably hard to answer this for both of you guys, but I'm going to play this question because it could pertain to something like with what you're involved with, William, with Florida State football, and or Nora, it could pertain to like your role with the NFL alumni and the things that they do. But this is a question that maybe you can answer on behalf of the Bucs. I'm going to play it now. And we'll see what happens. Again, it's orientated towards Brian, but I think it's a great question to get an answer from. Here we go.
Hi, Brian. What's one thing about the Buccaneers organization that you wish every fan knew, but most never get the chance to see? Thanks.
Well, I think that they have an award-winning facility. They take care of like the holistic player, and if you ever walk through One Buck Place, they have an amazing locker room, weight room. They have a food center that takes care of all of their nutritional needs. That is beautiful, and their entire facility is absolutely professional. I wish that more people would be able to walk through it and see it and be able to experience it and see all the things that are on the walls and everything. It's just not open to the public. That's
it's probably it could be pretty quiet, I guess. What I'm saying.
It's quiet in here when there's no fans. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. We can hardly hear you right now. It's so loud.
Well, that's a good thing. Most people don't want to hear me anyway, so that's fantastic. Hey, one of the things I guess behind the scene, Williams, for Phil, just like Nora was touching on, was some of the stuff, maybe the amenities and things that goes into it. I know, like my experience with the PGA Tour. Boy, I tell you what, those people are treated like kings, with everything. So, what's it like, for the amenities you have, knowing that you're playing a football game, but yet it seems like, boy, the locker rooms, nutrition stuff. Is it a and I'll preface this by I remember our good friend Scott Brantley, and Scott was telling me years and years ago that certain stadiums are pretty grungy, and one of them was when they played in Cleveland. He says this was definitely a flip flop place to where you wear your flip flops in the shower because it's so bad. But behind the scenes here at the Bucks, what do you think? Is there what's it like back there, with the players? I mean, is it comfy, cushy, or is it Spartacus? What is it back there?
Well, I think the player areas are kind of cushy. You want the guys to be comfortable, be able to bond with each other. But when you get back in the training area or you get back into the offices where the guys are going to watch film at, that's where it becomes more professional. And guys are just up there to make sure they get their jobs done and they have all the tools. Like, that's what I loved about the Niners, man. They threw caution to the wind. We never had to worry about having the best. And I think that this organization has found that out too. Once you win a couple of Super Bowls, you figure out what it takes to win championships, and then you try to mimic that for the years to come. So I think the Bucs have done that. They keep improving. You see the facility they just put up here. I don't think they had this when Brady was here. They were just building it, maybe.
Yeah.
And Brady was.
It's been 3 years.
So he didn't get in here. So I mean, they keep advancing the organization and giving the fans and the players something to cheer for. So I love it. I mean, I'm excited for the Bucs, man. Like I said, got a lot of great fans that played here, that won Super Bowls here, played here for years. So always good to be in Buccaneer territory, especially being
Well,
from
I can
St.
tell you,
Petersburg.
it's really something. I remember years ago, I worked at a golf course that's now the International Mall, and it was called the Hall of Fame Inn, but we called it the Hall of Shame. It was in terrible shape, but we were responsible because one Buccaneer place was right next door to us, and our irrigation system was connected to watering their field, and I remember one time they put brand new sod down, and our irrigation system went out, and it took a while to repair it, and all their sod died on their field. It was very unhappy, but the players, they still wanted to come across the street and play free golf anyway. They didn't affect them at all.
All right.
I remember the old fields because we were in the Living Brands, which is the old Outback Steakhouse International, was headquartered right next door. And you were in the offices upstairs. You could watch the practice from below because they were right next door to them, right by the airport.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, you know what?
It's come a long way.
We've come a long way with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I can tell you. When I moved out of Tampa years ago and went to work for the PGA Tour, I moved to Jacksonville, and the Bucs weren't very good in those days, obviously, before they became really good.
You're talking about the sombrero days.
The big sombrero. That's right.
That was what they called the stadium.
Sombrero. So it's the headquarters of the tours in Jacksonville. So I moved up there, and they didn't have a football team yet in Jacksonville. Jaguars weren't around yet, and they would just rag on me about the Bucs and this and that and the other. And I said, hey, listen, everybody up in Jacksonville, they may be the Bucs, but there are Bucs. Okay, man.
Right. That's right.
That's right.
But you know what?
1976. Their
But from a
throwback
fan-
game this year is going to be the first weekend in December. Is that
Oh,
throwback
really?
game? Yeah.
Orange jerseys.
Orange,
That's
the
fantastic.
light orange jerseys. Yep.
No, it's great that they do the throwback jerseys. I'll leave you with this one final story.
Throwback
my
jersey?
dad-
There's that
what we
throwback
got here?
jersey.
There's a throwback jersey right there. Hey, pan in on that again. A lot of our viewers out there, they may not know this. They may not know that that's still a popular thing. It's more now than just like 1 week in a year. You go to the games and they're littered all over the place. The old throwback jerseys.
Well, we had
man, you got a play going on there.
the 50th year anniversary last year, so they did a lot of shirts and memorabilia on that. So that's why they're still wearing them.
And those creamsicles, I mean, the quarterbacks are wearing those. That's how they differentiate the quarterbacks. So there's one right there, but the quarterbacks are actually wearing them in practice. If you can see, all the quarterbacks are in the
Oh
orange
man,
jersey.
I'd walk around in one of those so they can confuse me with the quarterback. Okay.
Confuse you with a quarterback?
Yeah.
That ain't happening, Riggs.
No, I can be confused with a lot of things, but a quarterback is not one of them. Maybe the water boy, I can be very confused with that.
Oh, we give you the punter.
Oh, okay, yeah, but you have to be able to touch your toes to do that. I'm not sure I could even do that now.
Media, John.
Hey, the Buccaneers are great in fan engagement. It's amazing. They've got to be one of the leading teams in fan engagement, just like what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Letting the fans come in, having the Florida Sports Hall of Fame come in here on the sidelines, and have our folks be able to enjoy the interaction with the players and and the training camp and stuff like that. I remember, I'll leave you with one final story here. When we moved to Tampa Bay, my dad was a famous Steeler. He's like one of the top 50 Steelers of all time. Okay, he's a famous Steeler. We moved to Tampa, and so the Bucs got the franchise, obviously, and so my dad says, "We're Bucs fans now." And I said, "What do you mean we're Bucs fans? No, we don't root for the Steelers. We live in Tampa Bay, and now wherever you live, that's what you become a fan of that town." And so for years, there was always these Green Bay Packers would come in and all these fans would come in. But you know what? It really turned the corner, when they moved into the new stadium, had some wonderful Super Bowl teams, wonderful championship teams. And you never look back at that point. And I think the fan base of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the things that they do to help connect the fans together is just wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
they do a
wonderful.
great job, an awesome job.
Yeah, connecting the fans when you almost run them over on the sidelines.
That was pretty live. Did you guys think you saw the tight ends and everybody run up on us a couple seconds ago? That was pretty cool.
Oh, I tell you what, yeah. Well, here I'm going to let you guys get out of here because it looks like it's getting pretty serious in that end zone. You're going to get hit in the head with a football pretty soon, right? So just want to tell our viewers, William Barnum Floyd, thank you very much. Famous FSU player, Super Bowl champion, San Francisco 49ers. Nora Lee Smith, our secretary of our Florida Sports Hall of Fame. So she'll be heading up this outfit one year pretty soon. So with that, both of you, thank you very much for your time and effort there at the Tampa Bay Buccaneer NFL training camp right there on the sidelines with all the fans and the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
Y'all take
Thank
care.
you, Reeds.